Hey folks, Levi here once again. Welcome back to another review. I worked today, but I had time to do a review today, so very since I had the time, do another review today. And you guys remember my channel is Levi McNally. Well, welcome to my channel first of all, with a mass profile picture. Remember, stay stuck to this channel, not the other channel. You watch videos on my other channel, but don't subscribe, okay? Thank you guys for the 269 subs. We're 270 almost, and we're getting close to 300. Well, not that close, but we'll get there. Because I'm not quitting YouTube or anything. I'm gonna keep on going. Just remember, guys, when you watch my videos, everything I say is just 100% purely my opinion. It's nothing against you if you don't like the movie or anything. It's fine. I mean, it's all about respecting opinions here, okay? And agreeing to disagree with each other on this channel. But if you want to see more content, more videos from me, when you subscribe, please don't forget to click the little bell button. It will tell you my community posts of the next reviews I want to do. And you'll be notified when I do a review. It'll let you know when you click that bell, it'll let you know when I do next review. But anyway, guys, what I've been doing on my channel is a superhero marathon. And I've been on what I call the 2020s era of superhero reviews. These are films that came out in this decade, that is 2020 to 2025, and I am on the year 2021. A bit more movies to go here, but I think I'll be able to finish it, luckily. This is a 2021 superhero film that is directed and written by James Gunn, yes, same director of the Guardians of the Galaxy films, Super from 2010. Yes, comes back to do this movie. And I did enjoy this film, but there were problems with it. But I was glad to see it rated R, and it was definitely better than the 2016 film. And this is the 10th film in the DCU, DC Extended Universe, that is the Suicide Squad. Yeah, yeah, nice little flip cover here. Yeah. Let's take it off. Oh, I love this poster. I did not get to see this movie, fortunately. I just didn't have time, or I guess I just didn't make time to do it, but I wish I did. But this movie wasn't perfect now. I do have them film on Blu-ray and DVD, but unfortunately, I can't watch this film on DVD. I tried to watch this film on DVD I watched the movie, of course, to prepare for this review. Tried to watch it on DVD, but my DVD was not working for some reason. I hope it's not a problem. Maybe it just was the disc. Yeah, I tried that. Like, Blu-ray was working just good. So I had from Blu-ray DVD. You have gag reel, you have deleting scenes, the making of four of the most epic scenes. The comic origins of the Suicide Squad bringing King Shark to life. But he's also voiced by, King Shark is also voiced by, the characters are voiced by Sylvester Stallone. Awesome. But there are two cast members up here. I don't like John Cena and Margot Robbie. They're my biggest problem with the movie. But I did like the rat catcher girl. She was very cute. I liked her a lot. Her character a lot. She was definitely better than Harley Quinn in my opinion. Yes, in this movie. Anyway, let's get into how the movie came to be. Sorry, you guys can see me and hear me. Videos, okay. The development for the film version was before the Suicide Squad film was released in August 2016. Director David Ayer and star Will Smith were expected to return for a sequel. Filming was planned to begin in 2017. After the pair completed their work on the film Fright, which is an underrated movie. Another from Netflix, but I would like to get that film on DVD with Will Smith. That's a good film, I think. Underrated. Karen Farkey is interested in fleshing out Katana's backstory in a sequel, though she also is not that of Not. She is also noted that of Not. That could be a spin-off film of her own. In September, Ayer said the first film had been rated PG-13 because it has really been envisioned that way for the studio and rated R needed to be planned from the start of production. He said it would be worth lobbying to make a sequel rated R. As he felt the first one had the edge and attitude of a rated R film comedy, no, it didn't. It did not have that at all. Yeah, you say that, but you hold back and on the blood and gore. This film at least is rated R. That's one thing I liked about this movie. Although I would say my favorite Suicide Squad movie is Hell to Pay. That's definitely my favorite. But hey, at least this film was rated R, which was good. You do get some blood and gore. I would say this is a movie. It's not for kids. You do have some nudity in it. It does have language in it, strong language. I would say language throughout the movie. It does have some sexual references in it, a bit of drugs as well, and it's pretty violent. Yeah, you see blood and gore. When people die, you see in a bloody way. So this movie, even though it's a comic book film, it is not for your children. Only for adults. This movie is. But this film was released to be paralyzed response. It was reported to have a difficult production. But the film grossed enough for Warner Brothers to fast track a development of a sequel. Several spin-off films were also development, including one featuring Smith as Deadshot, which never happened, but that would have been cool. The project was further along with Gotham City Sirens, and I'll team up with Margot Robbie. Of course, that happened with Birds of Prey flop. You know, Ayer was set to direct and produce that film rather than Suicide Squad 2. Warner Brothers began searching for a new director for Suicide Squad 2. They were recording Mel Gibson, who has directed some movies of his own, I believe. Like Passion of the Christ. Yeah. By mid-February 2017, David Escoyer also considered, I guess, for writing the film. Thank God they didn't get David Escoyer. Adam Coez entered the negotiation to write the film a month later, at which point there was still no director attached to the project. It was described as being a property for the Warner Brothers. Script delays led to the planned filming start being pushed into mid 2018. At which point Gibson moved on from the project. It means he wasn't going to do it. James Pellissieri became a new frontrunner to direct the film, at which time both Smith and Barbie were set as part of the roles. Zach Penn pitched a new story treatment for the film to Warner Brothers, and wrote a draft. The script was favored to the studio. Later in July, Pellissieri was hired to direct the Walt Disney Company's Jungle Cruise film starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, hopefully y'all can hear me right, and Emily Blunt, which I don't really care to see that movie. That film will like it would suck. But withdrew from directing Suicide Squad. After he said he would rather originate a new story than continue existing franchise. He went on to direct the DCU movie Black Adam starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson, obviously. But that film I don't think did too well at the box office wise. In August, Jared Leto was expected to reprise his role as Joker, which didn't happen. While production was not expected to begin until Smith completed his work on Aladdin and Gemini Man. The next month, yeah, which both films, Aladdin and Gemini Man, I think both. From what I heard, Gemini Man sucked, and Aladdin remake, I've seen a little bit of it. Within maybe an hour into that movie, I just turned it off because I just lost interest. Talking about the Aladdin remake. Gemini Man, I heard, was not very good. Kevin O'Connor was chosen to direct the film and co-write it with writing partner Anthony Tabasco, based on his own version. The character Black Adam was reportedly the main villain of O'Connor's script, with Dwayne Johnson attached to the role. Michael D. Locke joined the film as a producer in January 2018, working with the first film's producer Charles Robin. David Bart Cortez and Todd Stashwick were writing the film with O'Connor in June, and they had completed the draft by that September. They left the film by letter to focus on the film starring can I barely talk? Ben Affleck. It was reportedly out of frustration that Warner Brothers was moved ahead with Birds of Prey, a new Harley Quinn spin-off film. Similar story to be the one wrote for Suicide Squad. 2 years later, while running counted to O'Connor, clarified that he had written 3/4 of a screenplay focused on a father-daughter story between Deadshot and his daughter Zoe. When a new regime was established in DC and filmmakers he was working for, they were replaced. Upon meeting the new president, he and Walter Hamney, he and his writing partner told him to wait until they finished the script to show it to him. Once they did a couple of weeks later, they decided to make it a comedy, but he declined because that wasn't O'Connor agreed to do for the studio. During the development, though, the character Deathstroke appeared in 5 different versions of the script to fight Deadshot. Joe Mantello was attached to reprise his role as Deathstroke from Justice League 2017, though he did reprise the role again for Zack Snyder's Justice League that came out the same year as this film, 2021. October 2018, James Gunn was hired to write and direct this film. He told Warner Brothers close following the completion of his exit with the Walt Disney Company, after he was dismissed by Disney and Marvel Studios as writer of the MCU Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and 3. In July 2018, when conspirator commentators such as Mike Finch had a controversial Twitter post he made following rape, pedophilia, AIDS, and the Holocaust. Okay. Warner Brothers have been interested in recruiting Gunn for the DCU immediately after his dismissal by Disney, and asked him to make a new Superman film, which he is currently working on that. Gunn was uncertain if he wanted to take on Superman. Warner told him that he would adapt any DC property like he liked. He chose to make a Suicide Squad film. Following one of the DC property junior adapting and had been jealous when Ayer's Suicide Squad film performed well. Well, guess what? Your Guardians of the Galaxy film probably performed better though. Ayer supported Gunn's hiring, as Brave and Smart Movie called him, the right man for the job. Dave Bautista, who starred in the Guardians of the Galaxy films as Drax, Destroyer, started appearing in the film, but didn't happen. One of the first things Gunn did was exclusive of the film Warner Brothers was watch Suicide Squad for the first time. Studio said that he could take or leave any elements he wanted from the first one, but they hoped that he would bring back Robbie as Harley Quinn. I'm like, which he didn't. The day after he was hired, Disney decided to rescind Gunn as director of Guardians 3. I guess he had a falling out with Disney or something like that. I don't know. He discussed his new DCU commitment with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige, who has been producing these Marvel movies since the first Iron Man movie. He encouraged him to make a great movie and agreed to delay production of Guardians until Gunn had completed work on Suicide Squad. In January 2019, the film was finished out with the Suicide Squad. It was scheduled for release on August 6, 2021. This, of course, was the past year, 2020, with COVID. People were getting their COVID shots and stuff. Yeah, they probably did wear masks behind the scenes, so I'm not surprised. At that time, Gunn was negotiating to direct the film, which was described as a rather irrelevant a relaunch than a direct sequel that would take the franchise new direction and feature a larger new cast. Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder were executive producers on the film. Saban, who also produced the film, would also produce DC films Aquaman and Shazam, had pushed Gunn and made one take on the project, felt there was no better director to bring together a disparate group of outsiders on a mission. For the writing, Gunn wrote a achievement that there was a few pages long. Clearly produced several drafts of the script that Warner Brothers was extremely high on. He said the film was his own thing rather than a sequel reboot. He does not address the events of the first one or Birds of Prey, but he also does not contract them. Warner Brothers asked Gunn to make the film PG-13, but he insisted on, I don't know why they wouldn't do that, Warner Brothers. But you know what? I'm glad that he insisted on being at rated R. If he was one director, the studio felt Gunn's involvement was worth the trade-off for the higher rating, so they let him make it rated R. I'm glad he wanted to. I'm glad James Gunn fought, because when you have a movie like The Suicide Squad, they're villains, they're bad guys. You got to make this film rated R. I can't see the Suicide Squad comments it not being bloody, you know, and Gunn wanted to stick to that, It takes inspiration from John Ostrander original 1980s run Suicide Squad comic books. I can barely freaking talk, which he was drawn to because it was about a bunch of loser be created supervillains. Several described the Suicide Squad as a gritty 1970s war movie with the brilliance of James Gunn's character and comedy. He also got influenced by like The Great Escape, The Dirty Dozen, Where Eagles Dare, and Kelly's Heroes. Already know the kind of story that he wanted to tell. His first step in writing the film was picking the characters for the Suicide Squad Rooster. He spent days going through the library of existing DC Comics characters, which group he would work with well together. He wanted to create a blend of characters by having each feel like they were part of a different film genre. The first new character that Gunn would add to the Rooster was King Shark, who was intended to appear in the first film before replaced by Killer Croc. Gunn sought to feature an animal on the team and chose King Shark because he enjoyed the concept of man-eating fish-human hybrid. Other new characters were Polka Dot Man, Peacemaker, and a female version of Ratchet. He says one of the main differences between the film and the Guardians of the Galaxy films that it would be unclear whether some. So this is more like a rated R version of Suicide Squad. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy like a rated R version, if you will. Like I said, this isn't Gunn's first time, but Rainn Wilson and Elliot Page and Kevin Bacon, he directed the movie, and even Michael Rooker, who was in that movie as well, I believe, he directed the movie Super, which is also a rated R movie. But they rejected characters like Sportsmaster, Dog Builder, Black Spider, Man Bat, which I think I would say would add Man Bat in here, or Mr. Freezer Killer Frost. That'd be cool. They said Black Manta first, but this is a good thing though. But he did come back in the sequel in 2023, Aquaman: Lost Kingdom. The actor who played Black Manta in the first Aquaman movie, he would come back for the sequel. He did not consider using the Joker because he felt Amanda Waller would not have any use for the character. Chose not to use Kitman, which was a good idea for not Joker. Yeah, I'm glad Joker didn't come back. I just wish Margot Robbie didn't. Because if the character was already a punchline in the comics, it might not feel fresh for the film. They also put characters like Bronze Tiger and Katana, which I'm fine with, because they're more like anti-heroes than villains, which makes sense. Gunn felt he was in a position he had the responsibility to take risks with the property of his and try to make an all-out entertaining film, start to finish. This included postmodern decisions such as creating sequences that showed the pursuits of Harley Quinn and Polka Dot Man, and a sense subplot where Harley Quinn is on her own way, away from the action, adding title cards in between sequences. The elements were written to the script, including what Gunn referred to as a Harley version, which are gory murders are depicted from Harley's eye way of looking at life. By amazing, hearts, and beautiful little things. With the blood is coming out of people Harley is killing. The Harley vision was inspired by a video game that Gunn had developed called Lollipop Chainsaw. The main villains of the films are Amanda Waller, the U.S. government, They're trying to cover up their involvement in illegal experiments on the island, according to Maltese. I did not feel that the storyline was critical in the U.S. government, just realistic given the real world history of the U.S. interfering in other countries. He also wanted to use to make dramatic points rather than political ones. Different stances on the government's actions. The films characters take lead to dramatic conflict. For the antagonist that Waller sends to go to fight, he unintentionally considered using Superman before signing the future Stario the Conqueror. Instead, he found the character both ridiculous and terrifying, which reflected that he was trying to accomplish with the film. Stereo was the only major DC villain that was unlikely to appear in any other live-action film. I would not be. I'm glad they added this character in there. It felt faithfully by another filmmaker if it was. He also wanted to avoid questions regarding what should be treating Superman DCU and what they should do, what they would mean for the film's connections to the wider Stereo universe. And I know they gave him, by permission, they did give James Gunn the entire DC universe, so he's going to be making a lot more movies, not just Superman. Yeah, but that was announced a long time ago, including Harley Quinn. He knew the potential backlash from doing the natural evolution of the story. He did not want to be like films which might kill off some characters early on, not kill many of the main characters at the end. So he knew that one of them, the Suicide Squad members, would die during the final battle. He originally intended for this to be Brash Tear, but only felt that it would be too heartless. He chose Polka Dot Man instead. Yeah, spoiler alert, he dies. There will be spoilers in this review though. Yeah, and here you have the cast of the movie, them coming back, as far as the roles. When in announcement the first film saying of reception, Gunn said the aspects of that he loved. Defending his cast choice, which I don't. First decision Gunn made on the new film was to bring back Robbie as Harley Quinn, which was stupid. I'm sorry, Gunn, I don't agree with that. And Viola Davis is Amanda Waller, which I do like Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. I think she's good. Yeah, and Joe Kinnaman, Jai Courtney, not big on them as actors. Smith was agreed to be, I guess, because Will Smith was so busy. He has scheduling issues, so he can't be part of the film no more. So Gunn then met with Idris Elba to discuss joining the film to play the character, not Deadshot, but Bloodshot, they call him. And they wrote the script. Elba agreed to join the film during that conversation. As he wanted to work with Gunn and felt so touched and honored that someone talent was really kept keen to work with. Elba was officially negotiating next week. Joe Cameron's reply was ready to return for the first film. Jack Warner revealed that he was coming back to town. Boomerang. Scott Eastwood, who played Edwards in the first one, was approached to retry the role by Warner Bros. Offered him a three-picture deal, but the studio didn't wish to pay him for those movies, which sent him a script, leading him to unaware plans he was signing up for. Scott declined to return because he didn't feel Warner's needed him back and wasn't answering questions. In April, the film's creative team decided that Elba play a new character rather than Deadshot. Like I said, Bloodsport. Decisions included Gunn and Elba. To be respectful to Smith and allow him the option to return to the role in the future. Elba later stated that the Gunn was never intended to cast him as Deadshot. Gunn said he changed his mind a lot about who Elba would portray a lot. Gunn notably chose to cast him as Bloodsport. He's like the character in the comics. Though the film has an ensemble cast, Gunn felt Bloodsport was the main protagonist due to being the most proficient because of the amount of character growth that he goes through. Gunn wrote King Shark with Sylvester Stallone in mind, but there's three other voice actors before Stallone asked Stallone join the film, and he worked with Stallone in Guardians 2 and Guardians 3, so I guess he really wanted Stallone for the part. You know. Yeah, and I guess Stallone had a good experience working with Gunn on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, that he said, yeah, I'd do this movie. And of course, they brought John Cena to play Peacemaker. Yeah, I never liked John Cena, but that's just me. Cena made numerous unsuccessful attempts to join DCU prior to casting in this film. David DeRespin and Daniel Mickler were officially cast as Polka Dot Man in Russia 2 at the end of April. Gunn said that the role of Polka Dot Man was tailor-made, who had been friends with Gunn for a long time. She did a chemistry test with live rats as part of her audition because the character controls rats in the film and had interacted with them on set. Then he got Michael Rooker, like he said was on Super, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2. Yeah, being in this movie too. A tape film with the full cast was held on September 11th. Ahead of the start of the filming later that month. Gunn later announced that the film's full main cast characters will be Polka Dot Man, Peacemaker, Captain Boomerang, DDK, Rick Flag, design. Production designer Beth McClain said Gunn wanted the film to be gray and drab in montage. Until the characters arriving called Martello, like Havana in Cuba. They took inspiration from photos of Haven, Cuba, and Brazil. The film was the biggest set ever built for a Warner Brothers film. And even bigger beach set that was had real waves and palm tree forest, which Gunn called the greatest set he had ever been on. The general pictured a bamboo cage that was 8 feet, 2.4 million deep. As the mission of the characters that Gunn selected for the film Suicide Squad Rooster, the Doherty comics costumes, modern scary grim dark costumes were added. Robbie wears a new costume that features Harley's traditional red and black pullover shell. Gunn taking the inspiration from the video game Batman Arkham City. He wanted her jacket to have more cool gang style look. Yeah, they give it that look, but it's not much in the movie. Then they used the Hammerhead shirt design for the new 52 comics with King Shark. The filming began on September 2019. 2019. 19. No, it's 2019, Levi. Filming began on September 2019 at the Pinewood Atlanta Studios in Fayette County, Georgia, with the working title El Dorado. Henry Rudham served as the cinematographer. John said the film used more practical effects than other blockbuster comic films, but there's some CGI in there. Filming in Atlanta was scheduled to last 3 months before moving to Panama for a month. Staying for the streets in Gun City was beautiful but falling apart. We were able to use all the colors but to keep the grimace. With the cast and crew rescued several animals from the streets of Panama. Editing. Fred Ferguson and Christian Brandner served as the editors on the film. Previously working with Gunn on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2. Gunn was editing the film at his home due to he had to edit the film due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which he said did not affect post-production or release schedule at the time. The cut of the film was around 2 hours and 42 minutes long, and around 20 minutes of the film was cut down during, which I'm glad he did trim some of it down. Gunn felt the film was too long and removed some of the elements such as her part of Harley Quinn to separate to a storyline, which I'm glad they did. So the good news is, even though I don't like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, we don't get her much in this movie. As Harley Quinn, a lot of scenes with her, as well as Tinker's Ratcatcher, King Shark, not Queen Shark, Polka Dot Man and Thinker, where they exit at Quartermonth 4. Gunn felt the letters dynamic stuff. The visual effects were handled by Framestone, Scanlan FX, Kingdom Creek. The music was done by John Murphy. Beginning of the film, Peacemaker. Gunn filmed a post-credit scene for the Suicide Squad that sets up the series. Also for the Peacemaker, which I didn't really care to see that show. You got behind the scenes, the features were released on October 2nd, 2020 during the visual DC Random event. A panel for the film. I just remember the trailers and stuff for the movie. You had a Red Band trailer. Yeah, just I like that they showed a Red Band trailer, definitely showing you that the film is going to be rated R. Yeah. Premiered in the UK on July 3rd, 2021, and then debuted in the US here on August 6th. Both was moved up to date to August 5th for early preview screenings. Of course, the film is on Max or IMAX or not IMAX. I think they really like HBO Max, whatever you want to call it. I'm guessing critics like it. It's a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. The themes of the movie is like even a parody of American foreign policy and anti themes. The movie did win an award for Best International Poster. Poster was good, Star Performance Award, yes, it won that. It just won 2 awards. Excuse me. But unlike the first movie, This film did receive positive reviews from critics. It became the most streamed movie DCU film on HBO Max, though the film underperformed at the box office. Yeah, sadly. For the cast, though, I do like Idris Elba. You have Margaret Robbie come back as Harley Quinn, a crazed criminal and former psychiatrist. Of course, she was in the first movie as Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. I know she did Barbie. I don't like her actor, so I'm not going to bother looking her up. Idris Elba as Robert DeBus, Bloodsport, a mercenary with a technology advanced to that he used to create different gadgets and transforming weaponry. Yeah. He was convicted of shooting Superman with a kryptonite bullet. Yeah. And I thought Idris Elba was a great film. He did good in this film. John Cena is Christopher Smith, Peacemaker. He's a ruthless killer who believes in achieving peace at any cost. Yeah, he's overrated, I think. I don't like John Cena. You can't see me with John Cena. I don't want to see you at all. Disappear from movies. Go back to your wrestling. And Joe, can I get what Can a Man? He was okay here as Colonel Rick Flag. He's the co-leader of the Suicide Squad. And Sylvester Stallone is the voice of Nana. Idris Elba, though, let's see. Of course, I remember him in movies like, quite a bit of movies. Great actor. He's definitely a better actor than John Cena and Margot Robbie. Because he's done a bit more films than a lot more films, like Daddy's Little Girls, Tyler Berry. That's Tyler Berry film, I believe. Obsessed with Beyonce. He was in Ghost Rider Spirit Revenge. That film sucked, but he was killed off in that movie, so he's just wasted in that film. But they use him really good in here. Ghost Rider Spirit Revenge never rated R. But of course, he was also in Thor as Heimdall in Thor: The Dark World, and Avengers: Age of Ultron was part of the role. Zootopia, he voiced Chief Bogo. Jungle Book, he voiced Shere Khan, which came out the same year, 2016. Star Trek Beyond, I liked him in that. And of course, come back as the character again in Thor Ragnarok and Avengers: Infinity War. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, he voices Knuckles. Thor: Love and Thunder, he has a cameo, but I hate that movie. Yeah. John Cena, The Marine, didn't care for that movie. Yeah, and I just don't like Joe Kinnaman. You probably know him for the RoboCop remake. I didn't like him in that. That film sucked, and he was horrible in that. He was good with Lemmy Neeson though, and Run All Night. I like that movie. Excuse me. Um, King Shark is a man eating shark, but Stallone does the voice. Stallone does a good job with it. Yeah, but Stallone, y'all should know him for a lot of movies like the Rocky films, Rambo films, uh, films like Cobra, Tango and Cash. I can see here all day now. And Rhinestone. Stallone's been in quite a bit of movies since let's see, since like the '60s, right? Lords of Flatbush, yeah, since like the '60s. Paradise Alley, Fist, Death Race 2000, where I think he played a villain in that. Escape to Victory, which I've seen, and Night Hospital. I like those movies. Cobra, Over the Top, Rambo 3, Lockup, Tango Cash, Oscar, The Specialist, Judge Dredd. Now, big on Avenging Angela, which I didn't care too much for. Durban, I heard sucked. Get Carter was good. I didn't like him in Spy Kids 3. Yeah. Yeah, I see that documentary on Netflix about him. And then you have Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, the director of Argus, who runs the task force. Viola Davis is a good actress. I think I remember her in, she was also in the Tyler Perry movie, Media Goes to Jail, in the first Suicide Squad movie. She's good in that film. She also does have a cameo. It's uncredited, but she does have a cameo at the end of Black Adam with The Rock. David Dutchman as Abner Krill, Polka Dot Man. An experiment gone wrong in a suit covered with polka dots. He's like the dumbest DC character of all time. Basically, he can see versions of his mother when he kills somebody. He doesn't like to kill people, but he only does it when he sees a version of his mom. Now, he's worked with DC before. He was in The Dark Knight. If you remember, when Harvey Dent was torturing the man trying to find out information about the Joker, flipping his coin. That was David Dimache in that role. And of course, he played Kurt in the Ant-Man franchise, Marvel, and The Flash. I remember his every day in that Polka Dot Man in this. And also, I believe he was also in Gotham. He was also in Blade Runner 2049. Dark Knight was his first. Okay. Well, like I said, the first two Ant-Man movies, I don't think he was in Ant-Man 3. Batman Long Halloween Part 1 and 2, he voiced Julian Day, aka the Calendar Man. And Batman Doom the Came to Gotham, so he's in Justice League XRB Superhumans Part 2. He voiced the Flash. Okay. And like I said, he was also in Gotham, trying to bring Jerome Velasquez back to life and even get his face. But you'll see what I mean. If you ever watch that show, season 3 of Gotham, he's in that. Danielle Daniela Machello as Cleo plays Rat Rasher 2, a thief who infinitely mantled Rat Rasher from her father, along with the spirit that lets her control rats, communicate with them. A very beautiful actress as well. Yeah. She was in Guardians 3 and Fast 10 and the Roadhouse remake, which honestly I don't care to see. She's gonna be in the Anaconda remake, which honestly I don't care to see. Michael Rooker as Brian Dole, Savant, a hand-to-hand combat weapons expert. Michael Rooker, you've probably seen him, like, he also did a movie with Stallone, funny that they both in this movie together. That was Cliffhanger, and also Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which they do share a scene together. And at a short cameo in Guardians 3. Slither, he was also in Super, playing one of the bad guys in that. Like I said, Cliffhanger with Stallone, JFK, Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise, Eight Men Out, Mallrats. Yeah. Yeah, and Replicant with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Tombstone, classic movie Tombstone. Yeah. But I've always liked Michael Rooker as an actor. Yeah, he's always been one of my favorites. Always been one of the best in my opinion. Just like Stallone. Jai Courtney as Digger Harkness Captain Boomerang, and unhinged thief who was Boomerang. Jai Courtney, I did like him in Jack Reacher, which he was in with Tom Cruise. I don't care to see him as Kyle Reese, Terran Genesis, and Peter Kadab as Gilvis Greaves, Thinker, the lead scientist of Project Starfish, which I thought he did pretty good. Because he's done some movies, like he was in an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I'm so sorry, guys, I ain't supposed to speak. Hasbro as Sol Surya, the leader of the rebel faction on Corvus Bellicus, who assigns herself the Suicide Squad. She's a beautiful woman. I didn't like her in Predators too much. I didn't like her in the New Mutants or that movie. She was good in Demolition, but I didn't care for that film. But she was really good in this film. I liked her in this movie. I wish she would have had a lot more to do, but she was good. Let's just say I rather deal with her more than Margot Robbie. Yeah. Nathan Fillion plays Quarter TTK in the movie, the detachable kid. You probably guys know him for voicing Green Lantern in some of the DC animated movies, like Green Lantern Never Lights, Justice League Doom. He voiced Steve Trevor in Wonder Woman 2009 movie. So he's worked with DC before. And Justice League Flashpoint Paradise, again, like I said, voicing Green Lantern. And he had a cameo as Green Galaxy in Justice League Throne of Atlantis. He did voice for Car 3, Death of Superman, Reign of Superman. Deadpool Wolverine, he voices Headpool. I also think he had he had a small part in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Oh, okay, I know. Palm Plimter appears as a dancer in a nightclub. She's beautiful, definitely. But if y'all don't know who that is, she was the actress who played Mantis in Guardians 2 and Guardians 3. Yeah, and now she's in the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Part 2, I believe. The Final Reckoning. Yeah, she just has a cameo in here. I saw her like dancing. Like, oh, that's that's Mantis. Yeah. Anyway, the film is directed and written by James Gunn, who's when he started out in Hollywood, he just started out as a writer, as associate, like a writer for the specials Scooby Doo 2: The Monsters Unleashed. That he wrote the scripts for that. Super was his first direction, or I think a movie called Slither was, which I've never seen. But Super, like I said, that was a movie with it's a dark comedy superhero film with Rainn Wilson, Elliot Page, and Liv Tyler, and Kevin Bacon, Nathan Fillion, who I guess worked with James Gunn in that movie too. Yeah, he was. I remember Nathan Fillion in that movie, so I wonder why he's in some James Gunn's films like this one. Yeah, but I like Super. I reviewed that last year, by the way. Good film on this channel. And Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the films, this movie, Brightburn, and Superman. And Superman, well, he's not going to direct it, but he's going to be like, I guess, a producer on that film. Produced by, it's based on characters from DC. Produced by Charles Roven, who produced films like Johnny Handsome, Cadillac Man with the late Robin Williams, Scooby Doo, Scooby Doo Monsters Unleashed, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman 1984, That's Not Justice League, this movie, and after this movie, he has not done worked on DC film outlay since. Peter Safin. Oh, and I believe James Gunn's his brother. Sorry. Disaster movie, Meet the Spartans, Super Fast, Aquaman Lost Kingdom, Shazam Fury of the Gods after this movie. Wait a minute. I was missing something here. Wait a minute. Wait there, James Gunn. So sorry. Okay, yeah, his brother Sean Gunn also has a cameo in this film. Just a cameo, but he's in. Yeah, Sean is in the Guardians of the Galaxy films as well. As Peregrine. He's a cameo in this film. Cinematographer by Henry Berman. He's a cinematographer for films like Soft Top Shoulder, Crush, Flyboys, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, 3, and the Roadhouse remake. And Superman, he's going to be cinematographer on the new Superman movie as well. Christian Wagner, he did films like Face Off, Mission Impossible 2, and the Fast and the Furious movies, and Total Recall remake. Yeah. Music is by John Murphy. I think I've ever heard of him. 28 Days Later, I think there's a film too. It is done. But he's worked with Danny Boyle, Guy Ritchie, Michael Mann, Matthew Vaughn, and not just James Gunn, but Stephen Frears as well. He did the musical for Kick Ass, the first one. Production company is DC Films, Alice Entertainment, The Separate Company, distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. It was released August 5th, 2021. Here in the US, it's 132 minutes long, about 2 hours and 12 minutes. The budget was $185 million. Box office it made only $168.7 million. It wasn't a flop, but it did underperform there. It didn't really make back much on the budget. It didn't surpass the budget really that by much, so it was underperformed. That's why you don't get another Suicide Squad movie. But you did get a Peacemaker television series on Max, which I don't really care to see. All right, guys, I'm going to read the plot synopsis. Yeah, I know I'm 39 minutes in, but so again, if you've never seen the Suicide Squad, you can watch me talk about the plot synopsis, but there will be spoilers in the review. But you can stay and hear me talk about the plot synopsis real quick, what the story is about. All right. So just the plot synopsis. What the film is what the Suicide Squad is about. Now this film, like I said, is rated R. It's not for children. Don't let your kids watch this movie. No. I definitely say I think it's better than Black Widow. Black Widow who was rated R. But like Black Widow has this film, and like this film, Black Widow has two actresses that I hate, that I cannot stand. Anyway, before I get to that though, so basically the story of the movie is that the government sends the most dangerous supervillains of the war, that is Task Force X, led by Amanda Waller, the Suicide Squad, that is Bloodsport, Peacemaker, King Shark, Harley Quinn, and the others, including Polka Dot Man here, and Ratcatcher, along with Colonel Rick Flag, to this remote enemy island of Puerto Maltese. Armed with high-tech weapons, they trek through the dangerous jungle on the search and destroy mission, with only Colonel Flag on the ground to make them behave. But not only that, you find that there's a conspiracy going on a bit too, that Amanda Waller's up to something, and you have the character Starro the Conqueror, who is like a starfish, but when it gets into your eyes and your face, it takes over. And the Suicide Squad, they basically have to team up, and this people, including a lot of children, are going to get murdered and die. So the Suicide Squad have to be heroes, well, anti-heroes more like, and have to save the day. Even though Amanda Waller wants them to go on this mission, they decide they have to save the day as well. Yeah, and she still puts like bombs in their heads or whatever. Because remember, they're in prison. You know, they get time off their sentences. They get 10 years off their sentences if they be on the squad or the task force, whatever. They get off of it. But if they, disobey her, she'll blow their head up. She puts like a track device in their head that when she pushes the button, blows her head up. But this is an entertaining film. Now, this film isn't perfect. I know my friend Gregor and some of my other friends like Hillary and Haley, well, don't like Margot Robbie. Don't be discouraged. Don't worry, y'all. Gregor, if you're ever watching, Harley Quinn is not, I mean, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. She's not in this movie very much. She's in here, but not a whole lot. You know. So anyway, I want to talk about the movie itself. So if you've never watched this movie, if you've never seen the Suicide Squad or the first movie, turn the review over right now. There will be spoilers in this review. I'll put in the description box below. Thought I heard something. Description box below. Okay. I had fun with this movie, but there are problems. Not everything works about it. It's not a masterpiece of a movie. No, heck no. There are problems, with the film. Like when I even get to my Guardians 3 review, when I review that, which I'll skim, well, that was 2023, but that'll be what before I get that. That film has issues too. That's my least favorite Guardians movie. But despite the issues, I can be entertained by it. And this is also better than the first movie. I can handle a lot more. I did like Will Smith in the first movie, but the film needed to be rated R. It was just too much PG-13. They really hold back on it, and I think Ayer did a shitty job directing, and I think James Gunn was the right guy for the role. Again, go watch Super with Rainn Wilson. I don't like Elliot Page. I hate that actress as well. I'm like, James Gunn, what is it with you and Elliot Page and Marvel? Why do you have to choose these bad actresses to be in movies? You had two good ones in here, the girl and that lady I mentioned that was in Predators. They're good actresses. I don't like her in New Mutants though. Well, she's doing that for more of a paycheck, but yeah. But anyway, I'm just spitting off here. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about the movie. So again, hear me out. Spoilers in this review, so please do not watch this video if you've never seen the movie. But if you want to, stick around. It's up to you. But you are spoiling it for yourself. So basically, the film opens up with a Elvis song. Not Elvis, damn it, Johnny Cash. I like Johnny Cash. He was a great singer. May he rest in peace. They had a little song in there from him. You have Michael Rooker as Severance. He's got that. He's good with weapons. He like has this little ball where he throws it, catches it, and he hits this yellow bird. This bird kills the bird with it. And Amanda Waller offers him to be on the Suicide Squad, and he wants to do it because he wants to get off his 10-year sentence. He hates being in prison. I mean, I think anybody would. So he decides to join up. Yeah, with Task Force X. They have Black Ops who working on behalf of the American government through artists led by Amanda Waller. And of course, she puts the bomb in his head. You have also coming back as Harley Quinn, which, oh yeah, her first line dialogue in the movie is, and, oh, I had to take, Harley Quinn shows up, oh, I had to take a number two. I'm like, really? Not every joke lands in this movie. Yeah. But then they get sent to South America, Cortez, to destroy a place called Jutium. Jutium? doing time. It's a Nazi era prison and laboratory which held prisoners and conducted experiments. Well, anyway, they go here. That is the DT kid, the touchy kid, or whatever. And then you have the Weasel. The Weasel jumps in the water and he drowns. Michael Rooker tries to save him, but the Weasel drowns, dies, and you have this guy called the Black Guy, which betrays them. He's like, "Hey, yeah, I betrayed you. I helped you guys." And then Fly's like, "Get on your mission right now. Get back in your station. Back to your, back to where you're at." But he gets his face blown off, literally. I'm like, "Well, damn." And then you get shots, and you have Boomerang. When he throws Boomerang, he cuts the guy's neck. He cuts the guy's brain off. Yeah, his head just. Yeah, you have blood and gore. The movie has plenty of that. But the team dies. Harley survives. They kidnap Harley. Red Flag runs away. You think he gets kidnapped, but he gets kidnapped by this lady from the Predators movie, like I mentioned before. But she's with the Resistance, as you find out later. They're fighting against their government. Yeah. But then she has Team 2. Team 2, though, that is a Bloodsport, King Shark, Ratchet 2, Polka Dot Man, and Peacemaker. Bloodsport, who has a cool mask, by the way. I really love his mask. His mask is pretty creepy looking. He has a cool mask. Uh, yeah, King Shark, pretty cool character. Big CGI character, you know, who is a human hybrid shark who eats you. And then you have Ratchet 2, she controls rats. Polka Dot Man, who's polka dots coming out of his arms, out of his sides here. And he looks at you, he sees his mother. And then you have Peacemaker, who believes any peace at any cost. Yeah, with a toilet seat for a head on his head. But the Weasel, the detachable kid, gets his arms cut off. Mongol dies. And when I did find it funny though when Harley said, "What the fuck?" Yeah, but they all die. Harley gets kidnapped, like I said. First we see Bloodsport, cleaning out toilet. He's just cleaning. Blackguard tries to bug him, but Miranda was like, he's like, "Fuck off! I'm not joining your Suicide Squad." I was like, but then she threatens to put his daughter in prison. His daughter did something illegal. He gets something to his daughter about it, and literally they say "fuck you" to each other. They both yell it the whole time. Yeah, it's really over the top and silly. Some people might be annoyed by it, but I thought that was funny. Yeah, Idris character, he's really not a nice guy. But somewhere there he is a good guy, but he's mainly also a villain that doesn't hesitate to kill you. The first Waller nearly gets a pen ready to stab her with it. That's why they call him Bloodsport. Anything he tries to grab, he'll kill you with it. And Amanda was like, "Stand down." She's like, "You do this mission, I'll keep your daughter out of prison." And it's really messed up. Some of the people that I work with her, one guy with glasses, that overweight guy, thinks like, "That's really messed up, Waller. You wouldn't really do that." I was like, "John, you wouldn't know what the heck I would do." So he meets his team. They give Peacemaker, the Ratatouille girl. She tells the Ratatouille girl, they can call her that. She's like, "Get up." They give King Shark. So they get on. They arrive on the island to now, where at the beginning you saw the movie where they arrive. And well, she tells them about the mission that, like I said, it's experiments. They have to meet the Thinker, who knows about it, who can get them in. And he's overseeing this Project Starfish that involves a giant starfish-like creature, the Stario, the Conqueror. So they have to get in there and stop him. Yeah. So they go on their mission. They go in the woods. They're like sleeping in camping out. And, you know, Idris character, he's like scared of rats. Apparently, his father locked him in a crate with a bunch of rats, and he's had fear of rats ever since. And the rat will say hi to him. Polka Dot's main history, though, is that his mother wanted to make superheroes. She did that with children because you see in the movie, Polka Dots will come all over his face like this. And when he does, he has to get it off. And he's upstairs, he's like, "Why are you doing that?" And he looks, and King Shark's about to eat, Ratatouille girl, but, Ratcher, but he shoots him down. He's like, "Stop." And they says, "You asshole." And she gets arrested. Like, "Oh, I want to do it again." It's like, "Friend," they shake hands. Friend. King Shark's funny characters like this. Hand. Hand. Yes, that's your hand. No way. Yeah. So anyway, they go into the stealthy, they assassinate this, you know, like Peacemaker and Joseph. There's a scene where they're talking, they're arguing. It says, "I will leave you here and make you eat a bag of dicks on this island. I can eat a mini bag of dicks. I can eat many dicks." And I'm like, the girl says, "Why would there still be so many penises on this island?" I'm like, really, James Gunn? What is it with dick jokes and fart jokes and with movies nowadays? Why do we have to tell these kind of jokes? I'm like, really, James Gunn? I'm sorry, but that wasn't funny. But anyway, they get to this island where they're trying to save Frick Flag. They get a location on him. They shoot these people down, which is pretty cool. I will admit though, Peacemaker has a sword where he can stab some people. He stabs some people. Bloodsport puts a guy on fire. Peacemaker like has like an arrow or not an arrow. Well, you know what? It's like a spear that in his mouth they can put like shoot at you. Although Indiana Jones did it better than any Kingdom of Crystal Skulls, I think. But he has like this big old freaking gun. You know, that's about the size of John Cena's ego. But him and Cena they shoot some people down, some bad guys down, and then they say Rick, and he's laughing with the Resistance girl lady that he socialized on. I'm like, we killed him, man. I was like, really, idiots. They realize they killed get him of the robots. Nevertheless, though, they convince her to join forces with them to stop Silver Lenny, the new dictator of Cortamos. So they have to go. She has a contact they have to meet. Polka Dot Man says that when he sees these people, he sees his mother, which is hilarious. Then Harley is captive. Like I said, they capture her. She gets taken to Luna's palace because he's like in love with her. He wants Harley as his wife. They do have a bit. He does propose to Harley. She's like, "Yeah, you're hot. I'll marry you." And they start making out, which okay, shows Harley the bird. Spend some time with her. But he wants to sacrifice children to Project Starfish. So Harley, shoots the gun like, "I'm sorry, that didn't move me. Next time I promise I'll be with you, especially wants to kill and murder children. Won't be with him." Even though Harley, you're with the Joker, who's probably killed a bunch of children, a bunch of innocent people, but yet children you will stop at. Yeah, which makes no sense. And I didn't care about this guy anyway. She's talking, he's bleeding up and dying on the floor. Because I didn't even know this had a bullet in it. So they arrest her, they torture Harley. But meanwhile, the team takes out a nightclub. They wait for the thing to arrive. They have to put on civilian clothes. Ratchetteer, she tells them about her history of her father teaching her about rest. They actually place him. I think he was in Green Lantern. And I think it was also the director of Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah. He says he hated being the Green Lantern movie, but Thor: Love and Thunder, oh, no, that was awful. Yeah. But they become close. And in the movie, the Idris Elba's character, Bloodsport, he does kind of grow out of character a little bit, develop, character development a little bit with him. Being very sensitive to her, kind of like treating Ratchet, treating kind of her like if she was his own daughter, you know, starts to care for her, if you will. But they go have drinks, they have fun, polka dot dances with some women, dances to see his mother. Yeah, you have Mantis, she's doing a little strip tease. You won't see her naked or anything, but you know, they're dancing. John Cena's doing his little stupid dance, which I didn't care about him. Red Flag and Bloodsport, they're drinking. He's like, one drink, yeah, they have a drink. Eventually, the Thinker comes up. So the Thinker arrives. They try to get out of there, but the military shows up. The contact that tries to help them, he can't help them enough. So Ratchetteer and the King Shark they sneak the Thinker out of there, and they end up going to prison. They almost run out of there. They run a strip club. Yeah, you see some tits a little bit, but some naked women, but not much of it, unless the film is rated R. But anyway, they end up in there. Reaches out with the have a smoke, like hits the guy with the smoke, kills him one shot in the head. Yeah. Then they blow up the van. They say, "We gotta go on this mission now. We're gonna go." Wait, they gotta save Harley. The film pops up these like fiery flames or signs in your face about the movie. I forgot to mention about Michael Rooker's character. This character dies. Because he's on the island on the beach again, and then he sees what's happening, and he runs in fear. And out of that, running in fear, he tries to swim away. She's like, Savern, get back in your post. He doesn't do it, so she blows his head up. And the little bird that he killed earlier, I guess that must have been the little bird's parent or sister or brother or something. Says it starts eating off his dead head. I just wanted to mention that real quick. Sorry, I go over in my reviews. Anyway, yeah, they gotta go save Harley. They're told by one of the soldiers that she's still alive and being interrogated by General Sos. This actor, I think, was in Quantum of Solace, maybe the James Bond film I'm talking about, Daniel Craig. They do crash the convoy. You do get some. Well, before you get that, though, Harley does escape. She pretends to be sleeping, chokes the guy out. And you know what? I don't think there was. People would think that this scene was badass, and her doing over the stupid top yell and like flowers come out when she kills somebody. Just ah, oh please, you know, Mystique from X-Men 3, Rebecca Romijn, when she says, as a little girl, when she says, "When I get out of here, I'm gonna kill myself." That is more badass than anything. Yeah, Mystique is more of a badass character. Rebecca Romijn's character of Mystique is more badass than this Harley Quinn. So Harley Quinn just shoots some guys. Yay, it's decent. I did kind of think it was funny though when she grabs a chair, not a chair, but she shoots some guys down, stabs some guys. I see some blood in there. But again, I've seen better action with females in certain superhero movies, like with Captain Marvel. Boom, that was making a face at the squirrel. That was sexy and funnier and more badass in this film. Yeah, but Margot Robbie like hits one of the bad guys with the door. She like a couple times, which I thought was funny. She grabs the spear that this guy gave her earlier, and she sees the squad, the task force coming after her. She's like, "Hey guys, what are you doing? We're gonna rescue you." It doesn't happen. So I really need to go back, and then she hugs Ric Flair because they're friends. Ric Flag, I mean. Then they sink into jump to him and begin to rid the building. Well, when they rig the building with the explosives, they go up against these men. They start shooting them, and Lisa some blood and gore. King Shark grabs a guy and tears him apart. Peacemaker's like stabbing some guys. Bloodsport is shooting some guys up in the face. Yeah, Ric Flair like shoots this guy, shoots at these two guys. He shoots like their half their stomachs off, size of their arms or whatever. Polka Dot Man is able to like attack this one guy and basically uses Polka Dot to incinerate him. Yeah, but Harley Bloodsport, Polka Man, they have other floors to continue setting explosives along with Ric Flair and stuff. They continue down that way. Releasing power though, he triggers the bombs to go off. The building is being collapsed. Bloodsport is separated from the rest as he falls down the building with the debris. But he's able to he has not only guns where he can use, but it's like grapple, like I don't say grapple gun, but kind of like a hook, he can use. Flag, Retro 2, and Peacemaker and Thinker. They go down the underground laboratory where Stereo is contained. The Thinker reveals that how gruesome the experience were. They used children. The American government knew about it. The government apparently they went up in space and it killed the astronauts and control their minds. And so with that, they took Star the Concorde. They kidnapped him, and the government's been using him. Flag's like, I was sent to protect my country, not attack it in this way. But with the evidence and threatens to release it to the press. However, the Peacemaker, believing that peace will be maintained, information never gets out, draws his side on the Flag, which makes him a dickhead. He says Peacemaker, peace at any cost. Although you idiot, they're trying to kill children. Why do they call him Peacemaker in the first place? Stupid name. Honestly, I just don't like John Cena at all. I just knew he was going to be a bad guy in this film. Yeah, just kind of like part John Cena is in real life. Yeah. I don't like him as an actor. I don't care for him as an actor. All he is just, something, for women to look at and same person. He plays the same guy in every movie, just a big, strong, look, muscle guy. I'm not seeing Dwayne the Rock Johnson give a better performance than you. His Black Adam, I think, would just, I was if Dwayne Black Adam was a movie, I wish he just would grab Peacemaker and just shock him to death and kill him. I would have been so happy. Yeah. But he's like, peace at any cost. He's like, I'll give him that. The building collapses on them. Realistically, they survive. It's a movie, but the Thinker gets captured by Stuart the Conqueror, mad for what he did the experience on. So he like tears the Conqueror apart, the Thinker apart, kills him. Rick Flag and Peacemaker fight. And he's about to choke Peacemaker out. Bloody fight. Peacemaker grabs a piece or whatever, glass and stabs him with it through his heart. I get it, stabs that serves me in the heart, but and he passes like, sorry, Flag, and he tells Ratchet to give him the job, but she takes it. He's gonna say, sorry, Quid. Then that's when they had the bombs and broke up, bought them off. But eventually during the break, he's able to fall to where, at that moment, where he's got his gun about to shoot her, and they shoot each other, but, they shoot the guns at each other, but the small bullet, he has a small, Bloodsport has a small bullet, and of course Peacemaker has a big bullet, but the small bullet hits small, when they launch at each other, go at each other, the small bullet, pretty much damages the big bullet, and it hits Peacemaker and kills him, or so we think. Yeah. I would have liked to see them fight more. But I did like it when Idris Elba, shot him like, thank God. Yeah, he's like, how? He's like, small bullets. Yeah, I like the CGI for Star of the Conqueror. They ran into, he breaks out of the laboratory, the team runs out of the building, and eventually Star of the Conqueror, he's able to get like all these little aliens versions of him to hit their face, starfish to hit their face, and he can talk through them. Like, this is my world, I'm taking over. And they gotta fight, they shoot some people in the head, well, first they're told to leave, you know, within the Suicide Squad, they said, no, we're staying. She's gonna try to blow their heads up, but one of the ladies there who just took over her job hits a Mandible in the head with a golf club. Doesn't kill her, just knocks her out. They wreak havoc. She's like, not a problem. So since the creature's gonna kill a lot more people, even children, they decide to stop it. That were to take down Stereo. King Shark, and he does become a good leader, Bloodsport. Gets King Shark to go up there and like bite at him. Harley to, run up there with a spear to stab him and to kill him. And Polka Dot Man is like, your mom. And she's like, it's his big mom. And then it's a giant version of his mother. He uses polka dots. He's like, I did it. I'm a hero. I'm a motherfucking hero. And then he dies as Starro like pushes him. That was funny. But I wish Polka Dot Man would have lived on. For real. But Harley, of course, Harley Quinn can't die. They don't kill Margot Robbie. She only gets killed. So she jumps into gonna like stab it, jumps into the eye of it. Rashiteer, she lets her rats go and protecting Bloodsport saying it'll be okay. She's like, eh. And all the rats come and the rats destroy, get by the little things, the little starfish. They attack Star the Conqueror, they get on him, alongside of him and destroy him. Yeah, I guess because she sees the word blood and death. Okay, I get it. Yeah, Harley's a nut. Okay, they kill Star. They regroup. They kill Star. They save the day. Bloodsport then blackmails Waller with the drive, demanding that she let him free in return for the science about the U.S. involvement in the Project Starfish. And she agrees to it because if it gets out, she can go to jail herself, and she doesn't want that. So yeah, but then yeah, and then the movie, Harley thinks that his name is Milton, which is not Milton. She's an idiot. But then they take off at the end. They just fly in the end. And I liked it at the end of when they fly and the rat goes on to sleep on his leg. It's like his character growth, he's kind of like, just pets rat like a pet. Yeah. Ratchet gets your girl, she's tired. Sleeps on the shoulder of King Shark and Harley sleeps and it was just, bless our pets the rat. And then the movie ends there. And you get two post credit scenes. That is, Weasel was revealed to have been unconscious on the beach. He coughs up water and he's still alive. Goes in the jungle. Now free of Waller and the squad. But then another post credit scene, Waller's team visits a wounded peacemaker with more assignments for him to complete. And of course he's still alive. Spoiler alert. And that's the end of Suicide Squad. Yeah. I want to give my final thoughts on this, guy. So anyway, guys, Suicide Squad. This is a very entertaining movie. I can have fun with it. Am I entirely big on this cast? No, but I do like some of this cast members. I do like the story of them going on this island. I like that the film is rated R. That James Gunn had the balls to make this film rated R. We get a bloody and gory Suicide Squad movie. It's just a shame that it never took off. That didn't make money like it deserved to. It's a wild ride you never want to get off. Sure. Before I get to my issues of it, I do think the film has a good story. I do think James Gunn did a good job directing and writing. There are some issues though with it. You know, before I get to that, I do think he did a good job. I do think the cinematography is nice. The film does look great. It looks better than the first one. You know, the first film had horrible looking cinematography, but this film has better cinematography. Uh, the action scenes are really good. The film was very entertaining. You know, the editing I think is good. The action scenes when they're there, like I said, they're blood and gore. The film doesn't hold back on it. The music score is pretty decent. The soundtrack they have in here, of course, knowing James Gunn, they kind of give the film a. What's, the film does have some music in there as well, like Full on Prison Blues by Johnny Cash, Point Out of No Return, Whistle for Tilly's Choir, It's a Gigolo, Ain't Nobody, Ain't Got Nobody, Nobody Cares for Me. So it's got some good songs in there as well. Some of the soundtrack wasn't too memorable, but it was good. It was there. And I do like this poster for Suicide Squad, but I like this poster a lot better. Like the film is just going to take you on a wild ride, and it does. It does have a very good story. Sometimes the humor works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's very entertaining. For being 132 minutes, 2 hours, 12 minutes, it doesn't feel like it. It goes, I thought a bit went by at a really good pace. Didn't bore me at all. I like the whole thing with Star the Conqueror being there. That's an interesting character. Yeah. Yeah, and the film can be very entertaining. It does have a good story. It is a satisfying Suicide Squad movie. If you want a good regular version of Suicide Squad, but if you want a better movie with, I would say, a lot better writing, a better story, much more better story, this isn't just Don't get me wrong. It's very entertaining. I would say Suicide Squad held it big. Oh, by the way, calling her Hollywood badass for the shooting the bad guys in the governor's mansion scene or the president scene when she's like shooting these guys. I'm sorry, but Justice League Dark Apocalypse when Harley is singing and she's beating those guys over the head with a hammer, that is more badass to me and more funnier to watch and more entertaining. Yeah, even Harley Sorkin, even though the Batman animated series, yeah, but at least her character Harley Quinn was more sexier and she did more badass stuff, you know, and it was hilarious. Yeah, but again, if I have problems with the movie, first of all, I don't like Harley Quinn in this movie. I don't like Margot Robbie. But the good news is she's not in this movie a whole lot. I'm glad James cut some of her scenes out. I think she's totally miscast. She's a slutty version of Harley Quinn. I don't see the characters like that. Oh, they give her a suit. Okay, they do, but it's only for like 15 minutes or 15 seconds of the movie. You don't really see much of it. She's just wearing a dress, that red dress, but she looks awful in, by the way. And John Cena, I don't like him. I think he's overrated. I just never can get John Cena. I think he's just highly overrated. I never found him funny. He's not a good actor. He can't act at all. I think he should just go back to his wrestling where nobody can see him at all in movies because no, I don't see him in a movie. And let's see. Yeah, Alice Braga, the leader of the Rebel faction. Yeah, I wish they would have given her character a lot more. I wish she would have seen her and the Rebels team up with Suicide Squad. We probably have a lot more action there. I wish they would have given Alice Braga a lot more to do. I'd rather, yeah. But I'm not saying that I didn't like every. Yeah, I liked her, especially they gave her more to do. And I do like the rest of the cast. I do like Idris Elba for the most part. He's a compared to the two, he's a better actor. He's been in movies probably a lot longer than I have. Sylvester Stallone is fun as King Shark. He's a funny character. I thought uh, a very dim-witted, dumb character, but a fun character as well. And there's a scene also where he's chasing these fish. He's like, friends, friends, friends. And eventually, when the tank breaks, they start like being like piranhas and attacking him. Um, Joe Kinnaman, can I get what Kinnaman? He did all right. I didn't mind him. Um, Damascus, I can't say his name right. I'm not going to, but the one who spoke that man, he did good. Ratchet Girl, she was very cute. She's very adorable. I liked her a lot. I thought her and her rats were more badass than Harley Quinn. And first of all, she kills Star the Conqueror at the end, not Harley Quinn. Yeah, and the rest of the cast is pretty good. And like the humor and like the whole thing of a big bag of dicks on the island. I'll eat every dick. I'm like John Cena saying, "I'll eat dicks on the island." Not really. Then him being in his underwear, and then I have to see his big ego. If you know what I mean. I'm like, okay, dude, I want to see you in your underwear, John Cena. Maybe some women do, but I don't want to see you halfway naked, dude. That's really weird. And towards the end, says so he's a pretty lame character. I don't like Peacemaker. I'm annoyed by him. And the rest of the cast is fine. The thing was a good character as well. Yeah, but I'm glad Harley Quinn got less screen time. We don't see her a whole lot in this movie. You know, not to the third act of the movie where they go to save the day and stuff. Yeah, but despite that, it's still a very fun, entertaining movie. Despite those issues I have with it. And I do wish if I trim any more of it down, I would take Harley Quinn out of the movie. I know what you're thinking, folks. Yeah, I agree. You can't have Harley Quinn, but I'd rather have another actress in the role. I think Warner Brothers just wanted to pressure him to bring her back, and James was like, "Okay, you give Margot Robbie back." I'm like, "Go for." I'd rather have Zoe Saldana. No, she's good more, but there are I think actresses out there who can play Harley Quinn much better. That would have been cool if Laura Petty was in the role, but she's probably a little too old, I guess. But I could definitely see her a better version of Harley Quinn in live action. She would have been much better. Yeah, there was an episode. She was an episode of Gotham where her makeup is like in season two, I think. It reminded me of Harley Quinn, and she would have been a lot better, a better Harley Quinn than this Harley Quinn, in my opinion. But Suicide Squad, 2021, fun movie, very entertaining film. So like I said, I do have my issues with it. It's still better than the first improvement, but some of those issues I have with it, they could have took Harley Quinn and John Cena out of the movie. Margot Robbie, yeah, and you didn't need him back either. Rick Flag. Talking about, yeah, well, just cast different people. If you're gonna make a sequel, cast different people. A lot of sequels cast different people in roles. Whether it's live action or animated, they cast a lot of people. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But these three did not work for me. But the rest of the cast, including Stallone, Alba, the girl that played Ratchet, the Polka Dot Man, and the girl that played Alice Berger, she worked. You know, the rest of the cast does work. And like I said, I do enjoy the blood and gore here. The action is really good. The action scenes are well done. It is blood and gore. So if you want that from a Suicide Squad movie, then killing left and right, they do. You get a lot of that in here, and it's very entertaining. It will make you laugh, sometimes too. But not every day. Not like the dick jokes they play in this movie, which I didn't care for. Like, really? You don't need to put that in a comedy. It's just not funny. But anyway, guys, so my rating for the Suicide Squad from 2021, James Gunn's Suicide Squad, I'm going to rate this film. My rating for this film is 4 to 5 stars and a thumbs up. So I definitely recommend it. Just again, if you don't like Harley Quinn in this movie, I get it. But believe me, like I said, she's not in this movie entirely a whole lot. She's off screen sometimes for a little while in this movie. She's not, she's not like the lead character like she is in Birds of Prey. Yeah. But I still think that her character is sexist, that she's beating up men and men can't fight her. Like, they still try to make her character like she can beat up any man. So Harley Quinn is freaking invincible. Okay. Yeah. Birds of Prey was a man hater movie, and I still get that with this character, a man hater. But anyway, that's the Suicide Squad for you. My rank for the film was against 4 to 5 stars, thumbs up. If you've seen this, guys, let me know what you think about the Suicide Squad down below. How would you rank? What did you think of this movie? Do you like the first one more or this one better? I like this one better. What's your favorite Suicide Squad movie? Mine is Suicide Squad Hell to Pay. How would you rank the Suicide Squad movies? I'm talking about like Batman Social Arkham, which is more of a Suicide Squad movie. Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, Suicide Squad 2016, and this one. How would you rank them if you've seen these Suicide Squad movies? And have you ever read the comics? Are you a fan of the Suicide Squad? Tell me in the comments down below, guys, what you think of it in your opinion. Alright, guys, so the next review. Oh, let's see, this film's October. October, no. September. September. Sorry, guys, I'm about to be done here. Trying to look at this movie and get to it. This is another MCU review. Oh, another film that's 212 minutes. Okay. About 132 minutes. Like, okay, wow. Might watch this review this tomorrow. This is the 25th film of the MCU that stars Simu Liu, Agni Kete, Ming Sheng, Benedict Wong, Michelle Yeoh is in this movie. And that is the 24th film. I mean, 25th, excuse me, 25th film in the MCU. That is, I've never seen this movie before, or the Eternals, but this will be first. Since this was September, that is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This, I don't have this. I have it on Disney Plus. But this film was September 3rd when it came out. So yeah, September. And then let's see. I got two movies in October. That is the next reviews after this one will be Venom: Let There Be Carnage, Injustice, then November Eternals, which I have on Disney Plus, and then my last 2021 review will be in December. Not in December. I mean, what came out in December? Spider-Man: No Way Home. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my review of the Suicide Squad. Let me know what you think of this movie in the comments down below. If you ever plan to see it, and do you plan to watch it? And also, Shang-Chi and Legends of the Ten Rings is the next review, so stay tuned for this, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.